Hello, Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Good afternoon. Today, my topic is valvular heart disease. This topic is very much important in examination, in written examination, and also in OSCE and Viva. So, I am starting valvular heart disease. What are the valves of the heart? There are four valves in the heart. One is mitral valve, which is bicuspid, and other three valves are tricuspid, pulmonary, and aortic valve. All three are tricuspid valve. Now I am going to the board. I will discuss about what are the diseases of the heart valves. There are two types of diseases. One is stenosis, another is regurgitation. Stenosis means tightening of the valve, and regurgitation means insufficiency or dilatation of the valve. So, what are the diseases? That is in mitral valve, mitral stenosis and mitral regurgitation, tricuspid stenosis and tricuspid regurgitation, and pulmonary stenosis, pulmonary regurgitation, aortic valve stenosis, and aortic regurgitation. I am highlighting in topic on mitral stenosis because it is very much important in exam. So, I am going to the board. What's happened in mitral stenosis? It is MS, mitral stenosis. You should know the causes of mitral stenosis. What are the commonest cause? The commonest cause is chronic rheumatic heart disease or rheumatic heart disease. And other causes are very rare. What are the other causes? One is congenital, or there may be calcification of the mitral valve. But when an examiner asks you about the commonest cause or only one cause, that is chronic rheumatic heart disease. Mitral valve. So, suppose it is our heart. It is LA, that means the left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, and right ventricle. So, mitral valve is there. Mitral valve is there. Normal mitral valve is around 4 to 6 square centimeter area of the mitral valve. When there is stenosis, this area is reduced. So, when stenosis occurs, this valve area normally it is 4 to 6 square centimeter. When it reduces in size, especially less than 2.5 centimeter square or square centimeter, it is 2.5 then symptoms occurs. What are the symptoms? There are some common symptoms in mitral stenosis. Mild mitral stenosis is usually asymptomatic. When mitral stenosis is moderate to severe, there are some symptoms like fatigue, chest pain, and palpitation. Other symptoms are due to complications of heart failure like edema of the legs or swelling of the neck, and there is hemoptysis or dysphagia. So, first of all, I want to discuss about pathophysiology of mitral stenosis, which is more important so that you can memorize easily what happening actually here. So, blood normally goes from LA to LV. When there is mitral stenosis, this area is reduced. So, there is obstruction of the free flow of blood from LA to LV. That's what happens there. When there is reduced area, so blood go backwards from LV to LA. And there is four pulmonary vein. There is four pulmonary vein that opens in the LA. So increase pulmonary venous pressure. Increase pulmonary venous pressure. When blood normally flow from LA to LV, when there is mitral stenosis, valve area is reduced, free flow is obstructed, so most of the blood accumulated in the left atrium, and there is backward flow, that is through the pulmonary valves. There are four pulmonary valves open in the left atrium. So increase pulmonary venous pressure. Then there is capillaries. Increase capillary congestion. When there is increased capillary congestion, there occurs breathlessness, dyspnea, orthopnea, and lastly, pulmonary artery. There is pulmonary hypertension, pulmonary arterial hypertension or pulmonary hypertension. When there is pulmonary hypertension, there is increased pressure in the right ventricle and hypertrophy of the right ventricular hypertrophy. And that exerts some pressure in the right atrium. There is enlargement of the right atrium enlargement. So what is happening? All are due to back pressure. There is increasing pulmonary venous pressure, then capillary congestion, then pulmonary arterial pressure is increased, there is right ventricular hypertrophy, and there is right atrial enlargement, and there is right heart failure, and also increased JVP, jugular venous pressure. This is the pathophysiology of mitral stenosis. And all these symptoms occurs due to back pressure. All these symptoms occurs due to back pressure. What are the symptoms? So we also there is mechanical effect of LA enlargement. When there is enlargement of the left atrium is the highest part of the heart and most posterior part of the heart. So it gives pressure to the left recurrent laryngeal nerve and causes worseness of voice. This term is called Ortner syndrome. And another pressure effect occurs in esophagus. That is dysphagia. Patient causes dysphagia. So we can easily memorize what is happening and why it is happening. This when LA pressure is increased, LA is dilated. When LA is dilated, there is accumulation of blood and stagnant of blood and causes atrial fibrillation. This atrial fibrillation causes symptoms of palpitations. And when there is fatigue or breathlessness, it is due to pulmonary congestion. When there is edema and swelling of the JVP, it is due to right heart failure. And chest pain, this patient also feels some chest pain, it is due to right ventricular hypertrophy. So I want to discuss about when we examine the patient. First of all, there are some steps of examination. First of all, that is inspection, then palpation of the precordium, then auscultation. Percussion is not that much important. When we inspect the patient, there is no sign or symptoms because only JVP could be raised in right heart failure. When we palpate the precordium, what happens? First heart sound is tapping. Tapping first heart sound, but it is situated in the left intercostal space, just near the mid-clavicular line, and there is no displacement of the apex beat. Only apex beat is stopped tapping due to palpable first heart sound. So, there is a part of heart. Here is mitral apex of the heart. Mitral first heart sound is tapping here, and tricuspid valve is there near to the sternum. In second intercostal space, there is pulmonary valve. In the right side, there is aortic valve. These are the part of the precordium we usually auscultate. That is mitral area, tricuspid area, pulmonary area, and on the right side, aortic area. So I want to give some idea about examination findings. This is S1. S1, it is due to closure of the mitral and tricuspid valve. It is due to closure of the mitral valve and tricuspid valve. Then second heart sound. A2 and P2. A2, P2 due to closure of the aortic and pulmonary valves. So this is our part of systole. Here heart is contract and after second heart sound there is kind of diastole. There is diastole. And we get mid-diastolic murmur after an opening snap. OS, opening snap. And there is mid-diastolic murmur and another click. Then S1 again. So what are we getting on examination in the precordium? On auscultation, first heart sound is loud due to closure of the valve, tight valve. Then it is second heart sound, then it is opening snap, and main findings is mid diastolic murmur. Mid diastolic murmur, it is low pitched, rumbling murmur. So we hear the bell of the stethoscope. Low sounds are usually we heard in better in bell of the stethoscope. In the left lateral position, breath hold after expiration. So when you examine the patient, first of all, you auscultate the mitral area. You will get the loud first heart sound, then second heart sound. Second heart sound could be loud. P2 could be loud if there is right ventricular hypertrophy. There is loud P2. What is the opening snap? Opening snap, after that early diastolic murmur. Early diastolic murmur is low pitch, rumbling and rough murmur, which is best heard in the apex of the heart in left lateral position. There is pre-systolic accentuation and then again first heart sound. When there is increased severity of the valve disease, that is severe mitral stenosis, in that case S1 could be soft, P2 loud, and opening snap disappear or it come close to the S2. Then diastolic murmur will be prolonged. Duration of the murmur will be prolonged. So what is this? How we can identify that the MS is severe? These are the points. S1 could be soft, S2 P2 loud, and opening snap disappears. And there is also prolongation of duration of mid-diastolic murmur. Is that clear to you? So it is most important in exam oriented question. You should when for written exam you should know the causes of mitral stenosis, then symptoms, signs and symptoms of mitral stenosis, and these are the examination findings. On examination findings, what investigation usually we do? These are first of all ECG, resting 12 lead ECG, resting 12 lead ECG. Well, we could find that ECG changes occur due to left atrial enlargement, that is P mitrally, right ventricular hypertrophy. There is R wave in V1 to V3, and these are the normal ECG findings. There could be atrial fibrillation. So in ECG, you may see there is enlargement of left atrium, right ventricular hypertrophy, or as a complication, atrial fibrillation. It could be first atrial fibrillation or slow atrial fibrillation. If rate is more than 100 ventricular rate, that is first atrial fibrillation. It is less than 100 rate, then it is slow atrial fibrillation. Best option is echocardiography. Go 2D or color. So there are two types of echocardiography. One is transthoracic echocardiography and another is transesophageal echocardiography. Best option is transesophageal echocardiography for mitral stenosis. So types: transthoracic echocardiography and transesophageal echocardiography. So, best initial test of diagnosis is echocardiography. Chest X-ray. X-ray chest peer view. X-ray peer view. Peer view. There is lots of findings in the chest X-ray. And there is straightening of the heart, double heart border, and sometimes if LA is enlarged, heart shadow is also enlarged. And most confirmatory test is cardiac catheterization. Cardiac cath. Cardiac catheterization. These are the investigations. It is commonly we also done all valvular heart disease. We go through this test: ECG, echocardiography, chest X-ray, PAVU, and cardiac catheterization for confirmation of diagnosis. So, how will you manage this patient? When the patient is asymptomatic or it is mild mitral stenosis, you can give some follow-up yearly or 2 yearly to see the severity of mitral stenosis. If it is symptomatic, that is moderate to severe mitral stenosis, we manage in 3 ways. One is medical management or conservative management, second one is interventional, and third one is heart valve replacement. So is that clear? S1 is loud, then S2, P2 loud, opening snap, mid-diastolic murmur, which is best heard in the apex of the heart, breath hold after expiration, in left lateral position with the bell of the stethoscope. How will you manage this patient medically or conservatively? Conservative management. All the symptoms usually occurs due to back pressure. That is, in case LA pressure, normal LA pressure is 4 to 8 millimeter of mercury. In mitral stenosis, it could be 18 to 20 millimeters of mercury, and symptom occurs. That is, in case pulmonary venous pressure, there is capillary congestion. In case pulmonary artery pressure, there causes pulmonary hypertension, right ventricular hypertrophy, right atrial enlargement, there is right heart failure, and edema, JVP raise, there could be ascites. So, how will you manage? First of all, diuretics. Diuretics. It will decrease the volume overload and improve the symptoms. Second, if there is atrial fibrillation, we can use digoxin for rate control. And beta blockers, rate limiting calcium channel blockers. Diuretics for all the symptom will improve with diuretics. This is the basic treatment. And if patient suffering from mitral stenosis with atrial fibrillation, then we can use digoxin or beta blockers or rate limiting calcium channel blockers, single or in combined form. Third of all, anticoagulant. Anticoagulants to prevent thromboembolic complication. In mitral stenosis, there is chances of ischemic CVD, cerebrovascular disease, and we can prevent it by using anticoagulant, not antiplatelet. That is anticoagulant, warfarin, rivaroxaban, that is anticoagulant. And so, after taking these drugs, if the patient is symptomatic and hampering the day-to-day activities, we can do percutaneous balloon mitral valvuloplasty. So this intervention is done, percutaneous balloon mitral valvuloplasty. If there is severe mitral stenosis, calcification of the valve leaflets, or there is associated mitral regurgitation, then we need valve replacement. Valve replacement. mitral valve replacement. There are two types of valves, tissue valve and metallic valve. There is some criteria to using these valves. We use tissue valve or tissue prosthetic valve for young female patient pregnancy because you don't need any anticoagulation therapy after valve replacement. And metallic valve we can use in any situation other than young female and pregnant lady. They have to take lifelong anticoagulant, otherwise there arises some complications like valve failure or jamming of the valve, and again mitral stenosis occurs. So what are the treatments? That is diuretics. What are the medical treatment? That is diuretics, digoxin, beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, anticoagulants to prevent thromboembolic complications. And intervention percutaneous balloon mitral valvulotomy. Then at mitral valve, lastly mitral valve replacement. All mitral stenosis is common in female patient and in Asian countries. In female patient during pregnancy, patients are more symptomatic because in pregnancy 30 to 50% plasma volume increase. So symptoms are more due to acute increase in the LA pressure, pulmonary congestion, pulmonary venous pressure. So I tell you before. So I think I'm clear that you should know the causes of mitral stenosis, symptoms of mitral stenosis, on examination what you will find on a clinical examination, and then investigations, what are the investigations commonly done, and management, what are the management, and prognosis. If patient go through percutaneous mitral balloon valvotomy, it may require again after 5 to 8 years, and prosthetic heart valve, tissue valve longevity is less than metallic prosthetic valve. So now I discuss about mitral regurgitation. Mitral regurgitation. Mitral regurgitations are two types: chronic mitral regurgitation and acute mitral regurgitation. Chronic mitral regurgitation, the commonest cause is rheumatic heart disease. Rheumatic is enough. Acute. In acute case, it occurs after myocardial infarction, acute MI, AMI, endocarditis, endocarditis after surgery, any surgery in the heart, acute MI, endocarditis, any surgery in the heart, and sometimes syphilis. These are the causes of acute mitral regurgitation. And chronic mitral regurgitation, rheumatic heart disease is the commonest cause. What are the symptoms of mitral regurgitation? So, if like mitral stenosis, you should know everything about mitral regurgitation. That is mitral regurgitation, causes of mitral regurgitation. Then what are the symptoms of mitral regurgitation? Examination findings, that is signs of mitral regurgitation, investigations, and ultimate management of mitral regurgitation. What are the symptoms? Symptoms occur, that is fatigue, dyspnea, chest pain. These are the common symptoms. Suppose it is our heart and LL, this is RA, right atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. Here is mitral valve. This mitral valve. Blood usually comes from LA to LV and then goes through aorta. Aorta to systemic circulation which supply to the whole body, In systole, blood goes to the aorta, and in mitral regurgitation, blood also regurgitates to the LA due to insufficiency of the mitral valve. So there is 50% of blood passes through the aorta in spite of 100% because there is regurgitation. Normally blood passes to the LA to LV, then aorta and go to the body. In mitral regurgitation, there is insufficiency or dilatation of the area, so blood regurgitate to the LA again. So decrease cardiac output. Decrease cardiac output. Due to decreased cardiac output, there is easy fatigability of the patient. Easy fatigability of the patient. Then there is also increased wall thickness due to pressure overload. There is LVH, ventricular hypertrophy, and there is decreased blood supply to the thick wall, and patient have some chest pain or angina, So one symptom is easy fatigability due to reduced cardiac output or decreased cardiac output, and second one is chest pain due to decreased blood supply to the thickened part of the LV muscle. Another symptoms occur due to LA is again enlarged, left atrium is enlarged. When left atrium is enlarged, blood goes to back pressure to pulmonary vein, increase pulmonary venous pressure, increase congestion of the capillary, increase here pulmonary artery, increase pulmonary hypertension, heart failure. All this go through occurs due to back pressure. When LA is enlarged, there is stagnant of blood and there is atrial fibrillation. When atrial fibrillation occurs, patient feel palpitations. Fatigue due to low cardiac output, chest pain due to lack of supply in the thickened muscle, heart muscle, and there is LA enlargement and atrial fibrillation causes palpitation. And if you get some edema or leg swelling and JVP, it is due to pulmonary hypertension, right heart failure. So I am going to. This is the pathophysiology. It is the pathophysiology of mitral regurgitation. First, I show you the pathophysiology of mitral stenosis, and these all symptoms are due to back pressure. If it is mitral regurgitation, S1, S2, it is A2, E2. S1 is soft. In mitral stenosis, S1 is loud, and mitral regurgitation, S1 is soft. Then it is systole, and there is pansystolic murmur all over the systole. It is our diastole. So pansystolic murmur. There is pansystolic murmur from S1, starts from S1 and ends in S2. E2 may be loud if there is right ventricular hypertrophy or pulmonary hypertension. So what are the differential diagnoses of pansystolic murmur? Pansystolic murmur. Differential diagnosis of pansystolic murmur is mitral regurgitation. It is very much important for exam. Tricuspid regurgitation, and last of all, ventricular septal defect. It's a shunt anomaly. There is a defect between interventricular septum. So these are the causes of pansystolic murmur. How will you differentiate between mitral to tricuspid to VSD of mitral regurgitation? So, when we examine the patient precordium, there is shifting of the apex beat. In mitral regurgitation, heart is enlarged. There is shifting of the apex beat. There could be a thrill. Also, there is chances of third heart sound, S3. So, what are the findings of mitral regurgitation on auscultation? First heart sound is soft. There is pensystolic murmur. Pensystolic murmur. It could be loud, and there is S3. Third heart sound. Third heart sound is also heard best by bell of the stings. So, what is the differential diagnosis of pensystolic murmur, mitral regurgitation, tricuspid regurgitation, and ventricular septal defect? How will you differentiate the pensystolic murmur of these three conditions? In mitral regurgitation, apex beat is shifted. There may be a thrill may be present or not, and there is murmur is radiate towards the axilla. Murmur radiates towards the axilla. In tricuspid regurgitation, it is best heard in the tricuspid area and murmur regurgitate like upwards. And VSD murmur well heard best over all four areas. Okay. So is it clear? The auscultatory findings of mitral regurgitation. Auscultatory findings or examination findings of the precordium. So you should know the causes of mitral regurgitation. What are the causes of chronic mitral regurgitation? What are the causes of acute mitral regurgitation? What are the symptoms of mitral regurgitation? And on examination findings. Now come to investigations. Investigations. First of all, ECG. There may be left ventricular hypertrophy, and echo are the best diagnostic. Initial diagnostic test is echocardiography and chest X-ray, chest, and lastly, confirmation or accurate test is cardiac catheterization. Cardiac catheterization. So, how will we manage this patient? What are the management? Management, it is medical management and surgical management. Medical management, we use diuretics for volume overload, diuretics for volume overload, then SE inhibitor. SE inhibitors is a vasodilator. Third, if there is atrial fibrillation, then like before, digoxin for rate control, beta blockers and rate limiting calcium channel blockers. And if there is atrial fibrillation, then anticoagulant. Anticoagulants. There are some new and old anticoagulants, but we prefer usually warfarin. And surgical management. What are the surgical management? Mitral valve regurgitation or mitral regurgitation could be due to mitral valve prolapse and acute MI, infective endocarditis. In that case, we use mitral valve repair. Mitral valve repair, and other is mitral valve replacement, right? Metallic or tissue. These are the management. Usually regurgitation, when it is mild regurgitation, Symptoms are limited. If it is moderate to severe, we can use the medical management, that is drugs, I mentioned already. And if there is severe mitral regurgitation or there is more symptoms, then we can go for mitral valve replacement. Now, I want to say about aortic stenosis. Aortic stenosis, it is tightening of the valve. Stenosis means tightening of the valve. Aortic stenosis, there is causes. We divided the causes in according to age limit. If patient is 30 to 70 years or more than 70 years. If patient is 30 to 70 years, then there is uh, bicuspid aortic valve and bicuspid aortic valve, rheumatic heart disease, or there could be calcification. If patient is elderly, there is degenerative change or calcification are the commonest cause. So, what happened in aortic stenosis? In aortic stenosis, when we examine the patient, ejection systolic murmur, this is crescendo and decrescendo murmur. Ejection systolic murmur. This is our systole between S1 and S2 systole. There is ejection systolic murmur. S2 is soft. Second heart sound is soft. Ejection systolic murmur is crescendo, then decrescendo murmur. This is A2 and P2, and there could be third heart sound also. There could be in aortic stenosis. You can find. So, in this patient, it had based this murmur had based in the aortic area, also in the mitral area. Patient, what symptom? So you know about the causes of aortic stenosis, and on examination, the precordium findings is there. First heart sound, second heart sound. There is ejection systolic murmur, and it radiates towards the carotid. It radiates towards the carotid or sternum, and you can differentiate from other systolic murmur. It heard based in the aortic area, but could be heard in the apical area also. What are the symptoms of aortic stenosis? Mild mitral aortic stenosis is usually asymptomatic. When symptoms occurs, there is angina, chest pain, syncope, and shortness of breath on exertion. Shortness of breath. If these symptoms occurs, it is the indication of valve replacement, aortic valve replacement. If the patient is asymptomatic, so we can go so the echocardiographic follow-up. But if there is symptoms arises like angina, syncope, or shortness of breath, their lifespan is reduced 5 years, 2 years, and 2 years. So 2 years, 2 years, and 5 years. So we need aortic valve replacement. There is no medical treatment for aortic valve disease. Only if there is hypertension, we can manage as giving antihypertensive, or if there is any chest pain, we can give anti-anginal drugs. But main treatment is aortic valve replacement. So, there is also in aortic stenosis, if we draw again, is that the S1, there is ejection click, EC, ejection click. then S2, S2 is soft, and crescendo and B crescendo murmur. You can hear an ejection click also. What are the investigation? Investigations are always same for cardiac patient. We have some common investigation, that is resting 12 lead ECG, echocardiography, either 2D or color Doppler. Color Doppler is best to see the prognosis and severity of the cardiac valve involvement, and lastly cardiac catheterization to confirm the diagnosis. So when we examine the patient, apex beat is thrusting apex beat, and there may be palpable P2 if there is hypertension, and aortic stenosis murmur based heard in the aortic area also may be heard in the mitral area, and it radiates towards the neck. It's common in elderly patient, and in case of young patient there is congenital bicuspid aortic valve is the commonest congenital anomaly of the heart, bicuspid aortic valve, and ultimately patient may suffer from aortic stenosis or aortic regurgitation in the early years of the life. Otherwise, it is degenerative valvular or atherosclerotic valvular heart disease. Mitral stenosis is more common in young female patient, and aortic stenosis is commonly occurs in elderly patient, except some conditions like bicuspid aortic valve. Also, there is caused by rheumatic heart disease. So, come to the aortic regurgitation. Aortic regurgitation could be chronic or acute. Please try to know the causes. Go through books. S1, S2. S1 is normal. It is systole, it is diastole, and early diastolic murmur. Early diastolic murmur. There may be a systolic murmur also. There may be a systolic murmur also. So, early diastolic murmur, and you can also find the fourth heart sound in aortic regurgitation. You should know the causes of, not causes, signs of aortic valvular heart disease like aortic regurgitation. There is large volume collapsing pulse and wide pulse pressure, and there is also a Austin Flint murmur. Please go through book and try to memorize the findings, peripheral findings of aortic regurgitation. There are too many signs and symptoms you should know for written exam. So I will so I will see you some causes and other. So valvular heart disease, I will repeatedly go through this lecture. But what are the valvular heart disease? MS, MR, AS, AR, TS, TR, PS, PR. And mitral stenosis causes are rheumatic, calcification, and congenital. And don't need to see. Already mentioned this elaborately. I already mentioned the pathophysiology. So what are the clinical features? That is breathlessness and cough due to pulmonary congestion, chest pain due to pulmonary hypertension. There is hemoptysis, fatigue, edema and ascites due to right heart failure, pulmonary hypertension due to atrial fibrillation. There is thromboembolic complication, that is ischemic CVD. When we examine the patient, there is signs: mitral phasis, atrial fibrillation on auscultation, first heart sound loud, opening snap, mid-diastolic murmur, and right apical heat due to pulmonary hypertension, and there is crepitation due to right heart failure. ECG, there is ECG finding, RVH and LA enlargement, chest X-ray, echocardiography, Doppler, and cardiac catheterization. These are the investigations. What are the ECG findings? You can see here there is right ventricular hypertrophy, tall R wave in V1 to V3. There may be P mitrally in left atrial enlargement and P pulmonally in right ventricular hypertrophy. X-ray findings, there is echo findings. You don't need to memorize this, just see the investigation, whatever investigation we are doing. There is some pictures of P mitrally. This is P mitrally. This is our atrial fibrillation. It occurs due to enlargement of the LA and stagnant blood and imperfect contraction of the heart. There is RVH, ECG of RVH. This is X-ray chest post-anterior view of a mitral stenosis patient. These are the murmurs we get. Already I mentioned it elaborately. Medical management and surgical management. Diuretics, digoxin, beta blocker, calcium channel blocker, and anticoagulants. And surgical or intervention management is percutaneous valvuloplasty and valve replacement by. These are the procedure of balloon mitral valvuloplasty. You don't need this. This is mitral regurgitation. What are the causes of mitral regurgitation? Mitral valve prolapse is also common in female patient. It is the cause, one of the most important cause of mitral regurgitation. Please go through book Davidson. And this is mitral regurgitation. You don't need to. This is the clinical manifestations or clinical symptoms what patient will describe. He or she is suffering from fatigue, weakness, exertional dyspnea, cough, palpitations, and leg swelling. What patient told us, that is symptoms. What we examine and find, that is sign. And combined, it is called clinical features. Atrial fibrillation, cardiomegaly, apical heat. There may be thrill also. S1 soft. There may be third heart sound. Third heart sound also occurs in some normal conditions like children, in pregnancy, and athlete. Otherwise, it is pathological. It is best, S3 is best heard in the bell of the stethoscope, and also S4 is best heard in the with bell of the stethoscope. There is ECG findings and X-ray findings, echo, Doppler, cardiac catheterization. Best initial investigation test is echocardiography, and best accurate test is cardiac catheterization. These are the management. Drugs, diuretics, anticoagulant, beta blocker, vasodilator, and mitral valve repair or mitral valve replacement. This is surgically done. Aortic stenosis. These are the causes of aortic stenosis according to age. Infant children, then young age, and middle age to elderly patients. Pathophysiology, I already mentioned elaborately. These are the symptoms. It is most important part of clinical features are the most important part of this topic, because this patient, when symptoms arises like dyspnea, angina, and exertional syncope, you have to advise for valve replacement. There is also chances of sudden cardiac death. These are the signs: ejection systolic murmur, slow rising carotid pulses, thirsting apex beat. Thirsting, that means it will thirst your finger due to LV pressure overload. Narrow pulse pressure, and in aortic regurgitation there is wide pulse pressure. Investigations are same all over all the. I want to say that all the investigations are same, but findings are different. But we go through ECG, 12-lead ECG, resting 12-lead ECG, chest X-ray, post-anterior view, echocardiography. It would be 2D or color Doppler, and cardiac catheterization for confirmation. These are the ECG findings. Left ventricular hypertrophy. So see the auscultatory findings. There is first heart sound, then ejection click, then ejection systolic murmur, then splitting of the second heart sound. Be soft in aortic stenosis. Management asymptomatic, don't need any treatment, just follow up. If patient is symptomatic, then valve replacement. Aortic regurgitation, it could be congenital or acquired. Congenital due to bicuspid aortic valve is the most common cause. Acquired cause rheumatic, infective endocarditis, trauma during heart surgery, All valves are tricuspid except mitral valve. So these are the clinical features of aortic stenosis. In severe case, there is breathlessness and angina. Angina means chest pain. These are the important. You should memorize this top pulses, murmurs, and signs. Is important for written exam. These are the investigation. Here the management. So I have already finished my important topic like mitral stenosis, mitral regurgitation, aortic stenosis, and aortic regurgitation. Pulmonary stenosis and pulmonary regurgitation and tricuspid stenosis and tricuspid regurgitation is not more important for graduation exam or MBBS exam. So try to memorize what I have told you already. If you find any difficulties, please come to my department and I will try my best to elaborately describe these things, and if I got any patient of mitral stenosis, I try to inform you people, but now I think it is very difficult. So thank you all.